Banks. Have a seat and let me...
Hello and welcome into the Centennial Center alongside Ben Carago. I'm Luke Winstall here live on the floor on the campus of Georgia College and State University. We're set for the men's homecoming basketball game between North Georgia and Georgia College. Ben, what should we be looking for here between these two teams?
Just like the production of Jordan Thomas, he had a very big game and even hitting the history books, crossing over to 6th all-time, and he has the potential to be 5th all-time by season's end. And just looking at that and just looking at our position right now, we're 6th in the Peach Belt Conference. We have potential to move up against a very tough North Georgia Nighthawks team, and they're also tied with us. So this game can make or break our seeding through that. And I say, like, the X factors for this game, Zach Brown is a very efficient scorer inside. They don't have KJ Jenkins tonight, I believe, so just expect a lot from Zest Steeple. It has like a similar a two-guard tandem like how we usually do. But since KJ is out, Ephraim Ishanga should be able to step in. So you can never know how this goes from here.
Shonga Ephraim almost put up a triple-double in his last game. He did turn it over 7 times, which was interesting, but handles the ball a lot. He'll have his marks all over today's game. So, Ben, if we look at one key to the game, what would it be for Georgia College here coming in against the team they're tied with in the Peach Belt Conference?
It's just to play your game and start off strong against like the last game. They started off very slow, but ended up playing very good defense in order to keep them in it. So we can't afford the same mistake against FMU. That's how we started. But I think if we're able to kind of like focus in on what's at stake and also play our own game, that could do dividends.
Well, now the key here for the opposing team, UNG, coming into Georgia College here, having to play against a homecoming crowd here, the second biggest crowd we've had all year in Centennial.
Yeah, I think for them, if there is anything, is to rebound from a blowout loss that they had last game. So just be able to, I guess, not to give it too much credit, but be able to like kind of like play in it, because they also have a chance to move up as much as we do. So if we're able to, you know, corral all that in and be able to have some momentum, that could be major.
This game being played here for seeding in the conference tournament. It'll be interesting. The top 8 teams go. Georgia College is very likely to be going here. It looks like they'll be in the conference tournament. That's just a matter of where. What seed will they be? And we'll watch how it shakes out here. Georgia College, University of North Georgia at the Centennial Center. Alongside Ben Carago, I'm Luke Winstel. More coming from our pregame show with Scott McLeod.
Welcome in for the men's game, Bobcat Nation, as the Bobcats take on the Nighthawks of North Georgia. Alongside Luke Winstill and the producer, I'm Scott McLeod. Thompson's up top producing our broadcast today. Thanks to all of our camera folks working the angles for you. And this is a battle for 6th place in the Peach Belt Conference. Both teams coming in at 8 and 9 in conference play. Bobcats overall are under 500 at 11 and 14. Nighthawks at 13 and 12. Nighthawks lost their last outing on Wednesday to Augusta 92-65. That snapped the 2-game win streak. Bobcats battled back and defeated Francis Marion 90-79. They rallied from a 17-point deficit in the second half to win that one, as Jordan Thomas went crazy with 31 points in that one, Luke, and that was the Jordan Thomas of old right there.
Yeah, most definitely. Jordan Thomas coming out and getting in the record book, now 6th all-time in scoring here at GC, and it's a big day for him. I got the privilege of interviewing and talking to him after the game. I said, Jordan, what's been working for you? And he said, well, you know, my shot was on today, and it's just that simple. Last time he played North Georgia, his shot was not on. He only had 12 points. He was 4 of 14 from the field. Missed a few free throws too, which is uncharacteristic, but he just had it going in that game, had the energy early, and he was able to build off of it and help Georgia College get energy on the defensive end and translate it as a leader of the team to offense, which he almost always does.
Bobcats did lose to North Georgia back on January 11th up in Dahlonega at 90-80, and it wasn't even that close, folks. It was a 26-point ball game with 7.5 minutes to go, as North Georgia really just took on the Bobcats and took them to the woodshed basically up there in Dahlonega.
Exactly. That was a game for Georgia College where when you get into high-scoring shootout type games, we're talking 80, 85 plus points, Georgia College can score it, but they don't win. They're not very successful in those types of games. It'll be key here to first off establish the tempo defensively and get the game played in your style, on your floor, in front of your homecoming crowd. Make sure that you're in control early. starts on the defensive side for GC. If it gets to be an 80, 85 plus point game, their chances of winning go down drastically when you look at their previous results this season.
Josh Cottrell led them in scoring in that ball game with 17 points. He's averaging only about 7, so he had a really good night against the Bobcat men in that contest. He was tied with Zez Steeple with 17 points to pace the offense that night up in North Georgia. And GC hoping to stay pace, slip into sixth place all by themselves, maybe a little bit further depending on the other outcomes of this Saturday ball games, as we'll have most of the finals done before we tip this one off. KJ Jenkins is their leading scorer at 14 points a contest. He's a redshirt freshman from Canton and Creekview High. And he had 8 points against the Bobcats, so we held him under his scoring average on that one. They don't use a lot of players, it looks like. They go with basically their 5. They haven't got a whole lot of strength off the bench, it appears.
Yeah, it's their 5 and about 2 or 3 other guys, but they're not going to be a team that goes 10 or 11 deep in the first half, that's for sure. One guy that I'm looking forward to watching today, number 21, Ephraim Shimanga. He is a guard who can put up triple doubles. He averages a ridiculous number of assists on the year. He's got a total of 135 assists. He does turn the ball over at a fairly high clip. He's got 82 turnovers this season in 25 games, so more than 3 turnovers a game. But he puts up numbers all over the board. He can shoot it fairly well too. He is one guy that I'll be looking forward to watching as he goes against the Georgia College backcourt. It's become famous for their duo.
Shamaga with 11 points a ball game and had 11 against the Bobcats back in January. We're getting set for our national anthem one more time, and we'll have the introduction of the starting lineups from Luke in just a little bit. GC only 4-4 at home, trying to get above 500 there, here on the home floor of Centennial. North Georgia has had a decent year on the road. They're 6-6 away from the new Convocation Center up there at Dahlonega. And homecoming 2020 for the men's side about to commence here at Centennial Center. Still got some seats available. I guess the outside folks haven't gotten word that we're going to play some ball in just a little bit.
Not yet, but I'm sure they'll be in. Now, when we get to the starting lineups, we do have a change here for Georgia College that we'll be talking about, so stay tuned.
Last time the Bobcats did start A.J. James in that ball game, and he was held scoreless with a couple of rebounds and an assist and a steal, so James will not be in the starting lineup for this one. We'll get our national anthem here in just a second after Al Weston addresses the crowd.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Centennial Center, home of your Georgia College Bobcats. Before we begin starting lineups, we'd like to pause for a moment. Stand please, and gentlemen, move your caps for the performance of our national anthem. Today will be sung by freshman exercise science major Marco Wyatt.
Nice job on the national anthem. Maybe that'll get the home crowd fired up and the home team fired up for tonight's action. Let's run through the starting lineups. Luke's got them for us.
We'll begin with the visiting University of North Georgia Nighthawks here. Number 10, guard sophomore Josh Cottrell. Number 12, guard redshirt freshman Bailey Miner. Number 21, senior guard Ephraim Shamanga. Number 25, Darnell Snyers, redshirt freshman guard. And number 42, Carrot Watson, senior forward. For Georgia College, we do have one change in the lineup. Chris Parks starting, Jordan Thomas, Wesley Simpson, Justin Cave, and the change, Brandon Thomas in the lineup here. He had a really good performance the first time these two teams met earlier this season. Got into double figures, had 10 points in 18 minutes of play.
This will be his 5th start of the season for the redshirt freshman from McDonough and Eagles Landing High. It's good to see him in the starting lineup for GC. As Al Weston fires up the crowd once more. We've lost the lights for some reason. I thought that they're going to put them up for the introductions at least. Sometimes other places will have spotlights on the starters, but not today. We got the big video screen going, I guess. And I think Andrew Rochford's in charge of that up top. As the Bobcats get started here, GC at 11-14, 8-9 in the conference. Same conference record for the Nighthawks. They're 13-12 under first-year head coach Dan Evans. He's done a good job taking over this program and trying to get them in the Peach Belt Conference tournament. It looks like both teams will make it. Just depends on how things are going to shake out as the conference rolls on the final week. Final 3 games of the season in Peach Belt Conference action. Oh, blinding. Once they turn the lights back on, kind of bright.
That's for sure. Well, when I look at this matchup here, we have a UNG team that has been dead consistent. Even records, 6-6 at home and on the road. They were 10 points better than Georgia College the first time around. They had some good games from Ziesman Steeple and Josh Cottrell. Both of them had 17 points. Cottrell was in foul trouble and had 4 fouls. I would look for Steeple to be a double-double threat today. But number 24, Zach Brown in that first game, who is not in the lineup here today, but will come off the bench most likely, did not miss a shot. 5 for 5 from the field, 14 points on the day. And Shimonga almost had the triple-double in that first game, but did have 7 turnovers.
Tip is up, controlled by the Nighthawks as we get underway in Peach Belt basketball. We welcome you into the Centennial Center on a Saturday evening now as our last game of the day for Peach Belt play gets underway as everybody else started ahead of us. Driving, kicking right side, and an offensive foul call. Purple Heart points for Chris Parks as he took the charge. And GC will get the basketball after the turnover by the Nighthawks.
Chris Parks getting down there and setting the tone early for Georgia College defensively.
Snyders from Belgium called for the first foul of the day. Dribble drive up top for the Bobcats. JT touches for the first time and has the ball poked out of his hands into their bench. Shimonga playing very tightly against the Bobcats' leading scorer. JT with a 31-point performance got back up above 19 points a ball game at 19.2.
That matchup is going to be a blast to watch today.
Inside, Simpson skies and scores.
That's good. Simpson had a bit of an off game on Wednesday here in Centennial, and he's had a couple of games this season here that haven't been great, so it's good for him to get a shot made early.
Corner left 3 is no good as Cottrell couldn't get it to go. The Bobcats clear it when we throw it away. Nice pickoff. Shimonga got it going. Nice bounce pass. Cottrell right side. Back up top now to Snyers. Inside, Shimonga got it.
Yeah, nothing I didn't expect out of him. He'll finish. He's a really quick player. He's one of those first step type players. It'll be interesting to see how Georgia College is able to keep up with him no matter who's guarding him.
Wesley between the rings. Get it down inside to the big guy. Chris Parks has his shot blocked by Watson. Watson had an easy block there. That'll be his 12th of the year. Shamanga to Watson off the left block. Parks behind him. Circles in the paint, rolls it up and got it to fall.
Well, Watson on the past couple of possessions getting the better of Chris Parks. Those two are big body, fairly evenly matched big guys down low. About 6'7", 6'8", both of them. It's another one. These two teams match up well. Their records in conference even, and their strengths are fairly even as well.
We've played 2 minutes, and it's a 2-point lead for North Georgia. And Simpson pulls it back out as we get under 10 on the shot clock. Tried to zip it down low, and it batted back in his hands. He'll take a long three. It's an air ball, and it sails out of bounds. Not the best possession for the Bobcats, and not a lot of movement without the ball down there.
Simpson had to get something up there because of the shot clock, but it's going to be tough to get in the lane. We're seeing good rim protection from Watson.
GC with a little extra pressure. Don't see that too often by the Bobcats. Shamanga going to take it to the rack, and he got fouled inside, excuse me.
He's so quick that once he gets by you, you either let him score or you got to foul him, and that's what happened on that play.
Simpson tagged with his first foul, first team foul. And Shamanga at the line. Ephraim is put up a bunch, 107 free throws, 58 hits for just 54%. And the first one is short. Shamanga with 11 points, 9 rebounds, 12 assists against the Bobcats up in Dahlonega last month. Yep, 12.
Yeah.
That was a double-double the hard way, huh?
Well, he could have had a triple-double if he had one more rebound.
One more, yep. One rebound away from the triple-double. Got 1 out of 2 for the senior from Altoona High.
He just racks up the numbers. Doesn't matter what category, good or bad.
Justin Cave saved by Parks, almost out of bounds, and then it's stripped away. Bobcats really muffing the ball today.
They don't look good on the offensive side.
Foul inside on Parks, tried to get on Karad Watson, and Chris gets his first foul. Bobcats sleepwalking through the first 3 minutes.
Well, sloppy game early. It hasn't been a great performance from Chris Parks, so Coach Gaines is like, all right, that's it. You know, Koneman comes in for him. Koneman should add some shooting here for Georgia College, and it's good because GC has looked very out of sync on the offensive side.
They get it into Watson. Watson will hand it back in to Snyers. Into the right corner, now back up top. Shamanga. Snyers back behind the arc, comes inside and puts it up and in. Darnell has his first basket.
Really nice move. Couple of steps to get into the open floor, rise up and knock down the jumper. Simple basketball play, well executed.
And a 5-point lead as the Bobcats have yet to manufacture a lot of offense here. Koneman kicks it back out. Brandon Thomas's three is perfect. BT with his 39th of the year in 115 tries. They'll get it inside, and somehow he got it to go. Bailey Minor with a bucket. Redshirt freshman from Gainesville and Gainesville High.
I remember that name. I covered Minor in high school. He was dominant at Gainesville. They had 3 guys that were 6'8" or above on his high school team. It's a fun squad to watch, but he's really good down low. They've got him in a little more of a wing spot now than he's used to playing.
JT threw it away. He did not want to take the shot. He did not want to pass it, and he was in no man's land. Shamanga on the right side. 3 ball up, no good. Rebound by Brandon Thomas.
He can do everything really well, but shooting's not his strength.
Jordan misses the triple. Here's Shamanga. Passes it off to Watson, an easy 2, and it's an 11-5 lead for the Nighthawks as the homecoming crowd has been very quiet here because their Bobcats are quiet on the scoreboard.
Coach Gaines might need a timeout soon.
I thought he'd take one after that.
Me too.
I really thought he was going to burn one. And there's a foul.
Well, we're nearing that under 15 anyways.
Yep, got the 16 break and the foul against the Nighthawks will take us to the break. 11-5, Nighthawks with a 6-point lead on the Bobcat Broadcast Network. So the Bobcats down by half a dozen here, and a little sluggishness on a Saturday. They just have been really out of sync, especially in the offensive end.
It's a weird game time. I know like the 5:30 slot on a Saturday is not something that you see these Peach Belt Conference teams playing often, but for Georgia College, kind of everything everywhere, out of sync. It's not looking like a well-oiled machine out here.
GC to inbound it with Simpson.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more subs, to be honest.
And they'll come in here in just a second. JT got fouled as he tried to take it to the rack and put that one on Shimanga. That'll be his first. Third team foul on Nighthawks already. And Jordan Thomas will step to the stripe. Now the number 6 scorer all time at Georgia College. And I've got him 89 out of 113 for the year at the line. He hits his 90th free throw of the year.
Wow.
GC will get Sloan and Deckard in, as Brandon Thomas will have a seat along with Justin Cave. Cave had a great ball game on Wednesday, and
he did.
Not much to show for it here. I don't think he's even taken a shot so far in the first 5 minutes.
No, and Georgia College had him hot in the first half, and it was really important.
They just airmailed one into the first row of the south end zone, and GC will get it on the turnover. Changes for the Nighthawks. Zez Steeple comes in, and so does KJ Jenkins. So they'll lose a little height. Steeples with 17 against the Bobcats back in January. Jenkins had 8. He will pick up Simpson, now off to JT. Kodeman lines up a 3, missed it strong. Shimanga got the rebound. Christian's the kind of guy that he's got to get his first couple shots, one of them to go down to get that confidence factor in. Shimanga in the paint, turnaround jumper doesn't go, and a foul over the back. As Zach Brown, who also had come in, apologies for not seeing that, but he fouled Kodeman over the back, and that's his first foul, 4 on the Nighthawks already.
Interesting number of fouls coming early, but I would also add on Koneman as well. He doesn't tend to get the ball as much if he's not scoring very well.
He'll hand it off to JT. Jordan approaches the top of the circle, step back 3 over Shimanga, and he missed it wide left this time. And Brown gathers in the rebound.
In the first matchup between these two teams, JT was 4 for 14, and he's not doing much better here.
For some reason, he's not shooting well against the Nighthawks. Hopefully that'll change as the afternoon and evening progresses. And there's a reach-in foul on Kodeman as he tried to stop Brown going baseline.
He created space. I like the combo move, jab, step back, and then set yourself up for a three-pointer right beyond the arc. But the shot was just way off. I mean, it wasn't even close on that.
Lonray Olatunji comes in for the Nighthawks, and he gets the inbounds pass left of the lane. And it's stolen away. Crawford checked in during that break, gets it off to Deckard. Back to Richard. Richard will reset. Richard had started several of the last ball games. and in a reserve role today. He'll get it deep on the side, and we've got a whistle and a foul inside on the Nighthawks. And that is a hold on Tishomunga. And Shamunga, rather, is picking up his second foul. So we get their very talented point guard in some early foul trouble. Crawford into Parks. Got Parks and Sloan up front now for the Bobcats. Crawford resets in the midcourt. Shot clock down to 10. Richard looks to Deckard, gets it off to him, down to 6. Sloan back to Crawford. He'll launch a long two, and he nails it just as the horn went off.
The crowd was waiting for something to cheer about for a long time, and that was really good man-to-man defense from UNG. All 30 seconds were very good, but Crawford able to just create an inch of space to get that shot off.
Alley-oop down low to Olatunji, and he got fouled. And that is going to be charged to Austin Sloan, his first foul, third team foul on GC. So Olatunji at the line from Chattanooga, Tennessee, 8 out of 15 for the season. For a big guy, you'd like to see him go to the rack a little more, I would imagine.
I would as well. On that foul from Sloan, he was a little late getting his feet set for when he's able to go up and try to make that block attempt. Something I'm sure he'll get better at as he develops here, getting a lot of time as a freshman.
14-9, Bobcats down by 5. Deckard gonna line up a triple, and our redshirt freshman didn't get it, but a great rebound. JT forces it in, and it's stolen away. Shamunga got it ahead. Here's a three, and it comes up short for Steeple. GC clears it. Jordan Thomas storms down the court. Now Deckard, left corner three, that one's good. Austin Deckard with his 22nd knockdown from downtown.
It's huge for Deckard. Georgia College trying to position themselves to go on a run to take a lead here.
Cats trail by 2 now as we get under 12 minutes. They go right side to Snyers. Handoff, gets it back again. Steeples, wraparound pass. Olatunji against Parks, and he hooks it up and in. Went baseline with a hook. And the lead doubles up to 4. Crawford slows it down. Bobcats like to play that slow tempo if they can. Parks top of the circle. Gets it off to JT. They had a man in his face. And he'll go to the free throw line, elevates and scores.
Thomas is going to have help from his other players if he wants any space at all to shoot. He's got a super athletic guy, Darnell Snyers, on him. And it's a good identification by Chris Parks to realize JT's trying to get a shot off, but he can't. He set a good pick.
Steal by JT. He's got a breakaway, and he'll just lay it in. Uh-oh. I thought he came down. Yeah, he did twist his ankle as he came down. Saw him come down a little bit funny. A 3-ball away by Jenkins. Nowhere near. GC clears it. Push it ahead to Parks. He lays it up short.
That was a tough play to have to make for Chris Parks, having to twist his body around to get the ball up.
Steeple puts it up in the middle of the paint, got fouled, and we got our under 12 timeout. Tied at 16, and the Nighthawks will be at the free throw line when we return on the Bobcat Broadcast Network. Well, the house starting to fill up, and homecoming 2020. And Georgia College starting to fill up the scoreboard a little bit. 16-16 after a really ragged first few minutes.
It was a tough beginning for Georgia College, but they were able to score just enough to stay in it and give themselves a chance where if they go on a run, they can try to take a lead. They're on the verge right now. They're going to have Simpson and Koneman check in here off the bench. They're trying to get themselves together, and the game's gotten into a little faster pace at times. I don't really think that's favored Georgia College, but in the half court, it's been tough to get inside. They're going to have to get some good picks and run a lot of action around the outside to get some open shots for their top players.
Jordan Thomas getting a breather here as the Bobcats also put Sloan on the floor and Deckard as well. Steeple hits 1 of 2, and the Bobcats trail by a point.
Thomas is probably going to need a little more of a breather today than he would on most days. He's going to have to be running around the perimeter to just get open.
To Sloan, 2. Not quite an alley-oop, but good enough. As Crawford got the signal.
We know Austin likes to fly high. Crawford's a little off the mark on that pass, but regardless, Georgia College getting the lead.
Steeple inside, almost a travel by Brown. Back up top to Steeple. Bailey Minor hands it off. Spinning in the paint, back it off to Minor. Out on the top of the perimeter to Brown, and a foul called from behind as Koneman crashes into Brown. And that's 2 on Koneman. He will have to come out after the first free throw as Zach Brown will step up at the south end out of Princeton, New Jersey, and a transfer from Hartford. Redshirt sophomore at 6'6" and 190. 62% free throw shooter, drops in the first one. So A.J. James gets his first go on the floor. Jordan Thomas returns, so does Justin Cave for the Cats.
It's time to get Cave a little action here for Georgia College. He's been hot lately. Got to get some of that pressure off of Jordan Thomas because right now North Georgia has been able to key in on JT, and early on they especially did well.
Well, they've been hitting 1 of 2 free throws, so that's kept the door open for the Bobcats. Normally not the best free throw shooting team at 63.5%, so that may be a factor as our game rolls on. Here's Justin with a rise and a shot and a foul. And then Bailey Minor comes up gimping.
Well, like I said, time to get Cave going here. When he gets in double figures, Coach Gaines always says generally Georgia College is in a good position to win. He's a good X-factor type of player. Now at the free throw line, it's a chance for him to get involved because early on he wasn't really able to.
Apologize, it's not Minor, it's Cottrell, who limps his way to the end of the bench, and the trainer will look at the ankle. 3-point play for Justin Cave, and the Cats get their biggest lead at 21-18. Just past the midway point of half number 1. They zip it to Steeple. Steeple in there, and it's blocked by James, and a charge called. And getting congratulations is Wesley Simpson as he stood his ground in the paint. Wow.
Well, those are two guys I love to watch, Simpson and James. You see the vertical from James. He's not that tall of a player. He comes in at about 6'1". And he leaps up there. He can, get up and dunk and block with the best of them. And Simpson doing what he always does, making winning plays. He rebounds well, takes charges. Just part of his job.
Jumper by JT, in and out. Bobcats try to clear it, and it's tipped out of bounds. It'll belong to North Georgia. You're talking about AJ, only at 6'1", but he's got the most blocks of the Bobcats with 11 blocks so far. That one won't go as a block, but it will factor in the minds of the Nighthawks, I'm sure, as the afternoon and evening progresses.
It's wild to have a 6'1" guy as your best rim protector.
In the right corner, double team. They kick it back out. Long from downtown. My goodness, he was in the next county. Big rebound for GC.
He just jumped over a guy.
Bang! Justin Cave. 52 on the year. And Dan Evans has to stop play. The head coach of the Nighthawks calls a 30-second timeout as the Bobcats have doubled their lead on that 3 ball by Justin. Getting warmed up now, right?
Exactly. Did you see that rebound from James down there? He
How
snatched the ball over the top of someone's head. You don't see a 6'1" guy do that almost ever. I'm hoping we'll get a look at that here.
So he got the triple there by Justin to finish off the swing for GC, and Cave now with 6 points in the contest.
Yeah, Cave, free throw, 2-pointer, 3-pointer. Things are looking good. The past 2 minutes, he's done all of that damage.
And GC will put a little pressure defensively on the Nighthawks. Brandon Thomas was told he has to wait to report. So he will have to wait for the next dead ball, according to the officials. After a timeout, I thought you could check in somebody. Maybe he reported too late. Steeple across midcourt, right side. Tyler Dean is on the floor for the first time for the Nighthawks. And they drive in for the layup by Snyers. Redshirt freshman from Belgium.
Snyers is an uber athletic type player, and it's tough for Cave to keep up. Cave's a good athlete, but Snyers is on a different level, I think.
AJ left side now. It is Wes Simpson.
Jordan Thomas is having to run circles around everybody just to try to sniff the ball.
4 seconds to shoot. Wesley back up long, 2 doesn't go. Rebound crashed to the floor and finally pulled out by Steeple. He'll explode down to the south end. Back around the right wing. Behind the back dribble. It is a shot by Dean, won't go, but Miner gets the rebound, and I think he got fouled. And that is on Wes Simpson. That's 2 on Wesley. And we've got our under 8 timeouts. Bobcats lead is 4 with 7:36 remaining, and we'll step away on the Bobcat Broadcast Network. Bobcats by 4. 7.5 or so to go. Bobcats trying to get to 500 in the Peach Belt. Same for the Nighthawks as they both enter at 8 and 9. Yeah, let's hope the stamina is there for Jordan Thomas. He's been running all over the place just trying to get loose. The Nighthawks doing a good job defending against him so far.
This is one of the best game plans I've seen against Jordan Thomas. I think in terms of maybe not as much design, but execution, the athletes have been able to keep up with JC and make it hard on him. It's going to allow players like Jordan Cave to step up and contribute, guys like Wesley Simpson, and they'll have to, or else Georgia College might not have their lead for long.
Miner at 48% at the free throw line, misses the front end of 1 and 1, so the Bobcats got helped out there. Cave off to JT. Back to Brandon Thomas. Thomas spinning, kicks it back out. Did he go on the baseline? Yeah, he did. He landed on the end line before he got the pass off, and JT, of course, drilled it.
Of course.
Of course.
Started out rougher for Thomas, but I think he's beginning to get into a groove and get more settled into this game.
So the turnover gives the Nighthawks the ball back, down by 4 at the 7-minute mark. Ball stripped away, but recovered by Miner. And long from outside by Snyers, and it's no good, and a foul on GC. I think it will be charged to Thomas. You got, no, it's going to be on Jordan Thomas. Yeah, I was right. It was Thomas, but I thought it was Brandon Thomas.
I did too.
But they put it on JT, his first.
Jordan maybe made the contact before Brandon laid out for that ball.
Could have a lot of free throws in the final 7 minutes of this ball game, my friend.
Oh, man.
Bobcats are at 8 fouls. UNG is at 7.
Yeah.
And Jenkins delivers on his first attempt. Now 42 out of 50 for the year. And he drills 2 in a row. Redshirt freshman from Canton and Creekview High. Cuts the lead to 2 for the Bobcats. Justin fumbled it out of bounds. Gracious. We're going back into that funk that we had at the start of the ball game.
Just as things were looking better for Georgia College, kind of falling back into the habits from the beginning of the game.
And I guess that's a sign of the very young team that Gano has this year. Even though it's the end of the season, they've gotten a whole year under their belt now. But a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores haven't seen much playing time. Making some mistakes. Decker dumps it down to Parks. Parks, oh, he almost got the bucket to go, but he got the contact.
Good recognition from Georgia College, working down the near sideline, seeing Parks down low, finding him. It's a good possession in transition, which we haven't had too much of from GC today.
Bobcats not really a transition type team anyway. They like more of the half court offense. And Chris Parks misses the front end of 2. As the team fouls are even at 8 apiece. Chris now 45 of 68, under 67% at the line. Deckard out, A.J. James in. Chris hits 1 of 2. The sophomore from Collins Hill gives the Cats a 3-point lead. Steeple gets a return pass across the timeline into the corner to Minor. Back up to Snyers on the wing, and he'll dribble out between the circles. Backdoor cut to Steeple. Jumper away, got it. Zez Steeple from Banks County High, former Leopard and Erskine player. Pulls him within 1 at the 6-minute mark.
You know, he's getting involved. It took a lot longer than I thought for him to get into this game and get on the board.
We dump it inside to Parks. They double team him, and he pushed the shot a little hard.
And Chris has been having to work through a lot of contact low today.
Nice jumper by Jenkins. You can see the skills that the redshirt freshman's got, and he gives the North Georgia the lead back.
UNG has not been able to stretch out the three-point range today. They're 0 for 5 from 3, but the mid-range game has been on point.
Inside to Parks again. Double team, kicks it out. 3 ball by Crawford, won't go. Fight for the rebound, James almost got it. And instead is called for the foul. That is his first and the team's 9th. A free throw frenzy about to come in the final 5 minutes. As that's 9 for the Bobcats. Justin Cave returns for GC as Brandon Thomas has a seat. Zez Steeple at the south free throw line will put up 1 and 1. And he missed the front end. Steeple at 72% for the year, unable to connect on the first effort. JT working hard, driving, scoring. Oh, he took about 3 of the 5 guys on the floor wearing blue with him.
Gosh, 3 guys defending Jordan Thomas, and he says, all right, let's dance.
Jenkins with a jumper is good.
Trading
Lead
baskets here.
Yeah, we're bouncing back and forth to the lead, too. North Georgia up by 1 now. Crawford off to Thomas. Round a pick from James. Step back 3. Ooh, it's off the mark badly. Steeple behind the back dribble, gets him into the forecourt. To Jenkins, back to Steeple. Inside, easy lay-in from Tyler Dean as the Bobcats went for the steal. We couldn't get it. Stretches the lead to 3.
Dean's a 6'5" guard. It's a tough matchup for A.J. James, a shorter player. Usually he'd be able to keep up, but not on that one.
JT twisting and turning, driving and scoring.
Wow. This
Now
is why Jordan Thomas is probably the most unguardable player in the conference.
Preseason all-conference player. Bid for first-team all-conference honors for the junior. For a while there, he was bidding probably for Player of the Year honors with the scoring he was putting in. Steeples misses underneath the paint. Tried to get a shot off. Here is Jenkins. His three ball won't fall.
They might go the whole first half without hitting a three.
GC misses a triple. That was Cave. Here's Steeple to Jenkins. Back up top. And he missed it, but he's fouled. Bailey Minor was fouled by Chris Parks, who collects his second personal. And it's the 10th team foul. It takes us to our under 4 timeout. 30-29, the Bobcats trail by a point. As Georgia College tries to defend the Centennial Center.
We've had more than a foul per minute of play here. 18 fouls in about 17 minutes of play. It's been an interesting game when you look at turnover numbers too, like both teams around 7 right now or so. Or I'm sorry, 5 turnovers for each team here in the first half. Almost all of that early on. We haven't seen many turnovers in the past 7-8 minutes of play. Shooting percentages looking good. Both teams shooting dead on 50% as well. But it's been a decent game for Georgia College. They've had some highs and some lows here early on, playing against a very evenly matched UNG team.
Well, as you might expect, with the two teams battling, tied for 6th place in the Peach Belt Conference right now. And North Georgia just above the 500 mark overall for the season. The Bobcats still 3 games below 500 overall. So Georgia College trailing by a point. We've got Sloan, Cave, Crawford, Jordan Thomas, and Brandon Thomas on the floor. And it'll be 3 shots for Bailey Minor at 48% on the year. He started all the ball games for Coach Evans, and this is redshirt freshman year, averaging about 25 points 25 minutes a contest, I should say. 7 points, 8 rebounds against the Cats back in January. One more effort. He got 2 of 3. So GC down by a triple with 3 minutes to go. JT up, and it was blocked by Watson. Watson with his second block of the day, 13th of the year. Driving, spinning, they tried to get it to Watson and he just threw it away. Watson didn't go far enough to the baseline on the pass by Snyers.
Yeah, Watson's a big guy. If Georgia College can up the tempo, they've got the personnel on the floor to do that right now. All these guys can run the floor and dash up and down. They can make it a 5-on-4 if they can get Watson out of the game, but having him down low is concerning.
JT dropped it off to Justin, and Justin turnaround jumper for the free throw line.
And Georgia College getting some of their mid-range game going. Caves up with 8 points now in the first half. Jordan Thomas has 10. It's a recipe for success offensively for Georgia College.
Bailey Minor deep on the left wing, passes up to Watson out in the midcourt circle. Uses up his dribble, gets it off to Jenkins. Now back to Watson. Now Snyers, and Sloan overplayed the ball, knocked it away, but it's recovered with 3 seconds to shoot. Minor 3 ball doesn't fall, and the ball tapped by Sloan into Crawford's hands. Crawford gonna lob it ahead to Sloan. Sloan over Minor for 2, and the Cats have taken the lead back.
I'll take Sloan and Minor in that matchup all day long. Again, you have Watson behind the ball when it gets up to Sloan. Good heads-up pass from Crawford to find him.
Justin Cave just got drilled by Steeple. Great ball fake. Got around and laid it in a hurry. 90 seconds remaining, and it's a 1-point ball game. First half of homecoming. Here's JT, and he's fouled as he goes to the 10. That'll be the 10th team foul on the Nighthawks, so it's double bonus for everybody the rest of the way as KJ Jenkins gets tagged with his first foul. So Jordan with 10 points, a quiet 10. And he'll try his luck at the free throw line at the north end.
And Thomas shooting about 44% on the day from the field.
Much better than the 4 for 14 he showed against the Nighthawks.
Yeah, the reason it feels a little more quiet is he's 0 for 4 from 3. Usually that's a money shot from him.
It is. But he's been really tightly contested most of the day. Tries it again and hits it again. And the lead seesaws back to the Cats side as Hunter Norman checks in for the first time. Redshirt freshman point guard from Kennesaw. They go with their dribble drive up top. Jenkins bombs straight away. 3, knocked it in. Wow. KJ Jenkins not afraid of shooting.
No, it's their first 3. It took 19 minutes to knock down a 3-pointer, but they've got it now.
To answer, Cave! From 2 steps back of the arc at least. Justin ringing it up. That's 11 points for Justin Cave now. They push it way outside. Snyder's 3 won't fall, but Watson gets a rebound. He has to push it back out again. Here's Jenkins. Gets around a flying Thomas and missed it. Rebound GC with 30 seconds to play.
Yeah, Jenkins is one you have to keep an eye on the 3 ball. He's a 41% shooter on the year.
Mark Gaines wants a timeout. So GC will have it. When we come back here, 24.5 seconds to go. Cats by a single point after the triple by Justin Cave. The sophomore from the Savannah area and Islands High has taken the team on his back here the last couple of weeks or so as he and Jordan Thomas have been a big force to reckon with.
Cave's one for Georgia College that's a huge key because without him, they're probably a number 8, number 9 type team, but with him, they're a 5 or 6 seed just because of the way that he plays. He's a pure scorer, does a good job taking pressure off of the other players on the floor for GC. And he's enjoyable to watch. He can hit the 3s, the mid-range, and obviously the layups. He scores from everywhere on the floor, does a very good job of it.
Bobcats have to get a shot off before the end of the half. 2 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. JT standing in the logo. Gets a pick from Brandon and loses the basketball. Nighthawks with one last try. Get it past midcourt. A long bomb from just inside the midcourt line is no good, and GC will have to settle for a 1-point lead here at the break. So 38-37, the Bobcats on top. We'll have our homecoming festivities in a second and let you get some halftime comments in, sir.
Yeah, for Jordan Thomas, he's been okay for Georgia College, but it hasn't been a great game overall. I'd be looking for more bench scoring from GC. In the first matchup, they had 45 points off their bench. Here in this game, they haven't been nearly successful in the first half. Only 7 points off their bench in the first half. That's going to be big because North Georgia off their bench is getting about 45 to 50 points a game. Looking at their past few box scores, GC's got to be able to match up with that, and they haven't had it from their depth today.
So the Bobcats trail by a point. Sassy Cat's going to perform before we get the halftime festivities for you. As I would imagine we'll have one of the courts introduced here in just a second. We don't have any numbers as yet. Looks like they're going to pass them our way here in just a second. Maybe Luke can give us some numbers before we take a break.
Well, the first thing that I see when I look at the stat sheet would be neither team has second chance points. Georgia College has 11 points off the fast break, outscoring UNG 11-5 in that category. Georgia College has been outscored on the bench 22-9. In the paint, things are fairly even off of turnovers, fairly even in terms of individual performances. 12 points from Jordan Thomas, 11 from Cave, only 2 from Simpson. 1 point from Chris Parks is a little concerning. He's had trouble down low. He's turned it over as well. Only 1 rebound from him on the day. He's 0 for 3 from the field. All of his shots inside of 5 feet. It's been tough on Parks because Carrot Watson's 2 for 2 from the field. He's got 4 points and a rebound, a pair of blocks, and 1 assist. Also, no player over 9 points for UNG in the first half. Steeple had 9. I'm sorry, KJ Jenkins had 9, but he was only 3 of 7, 1 of 5 from 3. You'd have to think he'll heat up from 3 in the second half.
So those are how things are stacking up here at the end of the first half. A very tightly played contest. Bobcats started off poorly, but got back in it, took a good-sized lead, and then saw that lead disappear. And now they're up by just 1 at the break. And when we come back, well, we're going to stay right here, obviously, and we'll have the homecoming festivities for you in just a second after the Sassy Cats wrap up their performance here. They'll be performing, I imagine, at the Peach Belt Conference events. I believe the 4th of March is when first round Peach Belt Conference action starts. Top 4 teams will host the bottom 4 teams. We should be getting some finals for you in just a little bit in men's basketball as well. As Pembroke leads Augusta and Aiken by a game in both the win column and the loss column. Pembroke at 14-3, both Augusta and Aiken at 13-4 coming into today's play. Lander in 4th place at 12-5. We'll be facing the Lander Bearcats here at the Centennial Center next Wednesday, final home game of the season for GC men's basketball. And then the Bobcats a week from today will wrap up their season at Augusta in a 3:30 ball game as the regular season wraps up in Peach Belt action. And the quarterfinals start on March 4th. So we'll step away and let you enjoy the, well, I thought it was going to be finishing, and it is for the Sassy Cats. Well, maybe it isn't. They continue on. Final scores in men's basketball, they're all final now. Lander 83, Francis Marion 76, so they have a win behind them when they come to Centennial on Wednesday. Augusta over Young Harris, 96-89. Clayton State upset USC Aiken this afternoon. Clayton State coming off the deck late here. They won it 92-91. Flagler over Georgia Southwestern 99-80. And UNC Pembroke took care of business against Columbus State 82-76. Now let's get to our homecoming activities.
Hello and welcome into the Bobcat Broadcast Network. Alongside Ben Carago, I'm Luke Winstel, courtside here in the Centennial Center on the campus of Georgia College and State University. We're here at halftime. We've taken a look at some of the numbers. Ben, what have you thought? Georgia College heads into the half up ahead by 1.
Well, I think, we already know that Jordan Thomas, what he's going to bring in the game, and he's already has 11. Justin Cave has still been on that stretch where he's been able to get us in with some big shots, and we've just been playing really well. I feel like this league could be a lot more, but there were times that we kind of slowed down the tempo. But sometimes I think we just still need to, hunker down on that and just execute on. We already been working on our fast break points right now, so with the 11-5 matchup with that, and their bench is contributing a lot more. But if we can get a step up on that, I think we'll be able to have a very good half.
What will you be looking for out of Georgia College here most, if you could pick one thing in the second half?
It's just you're up by 1, but also not to get lax through that. So just being able to, like the key factors, like limiting, just being able to limit on their own end. What they're doing well right now is their bench is doing a very good job. So if we're able to hone in on our own side and be able to have contributions from our bench and being able to have momentum through that. So I just be able to win on second chance points. They have Zach Brown and they have Kerry Watson, and he's a very big dude that's been causing troubles for us inside. So if we're able to find ways to pull him away from the paint, we'll be able to execute, I think.
What has been the biggest positive for North Georgia today?
We mentioned a little bit their paints in the point, their points in the paint. They've had less turnovers, and through that, more so because they have more scorers on their bench, and starting on a different lineup that we would probably find through that. I think they went to that early. We saw the usage rate with that. So I think it's just limiting that. Our turnovers are ones that are killing us right now. So if we're able to hone in on that, we'll be able to do dividends.
Awesome, Ben. Thank you for joining us here. Now we'll bring it over to Scott McLeod to continue our halftime coverage from the Centennial Center.
A couple minutes before we get the second half tipped off here, let's update the standings in men's basketball and Peach Belt Conference play as we're down to the final few days of regular season. Pembroke holds on to first place with their win earlier today. Augusta is in second place, a game back of Pembroke. The Braves are at 15-3. The Jaguars are at 14-4. Now a tie between Aiken and Lander for third place. Both teams at 13-5 after the results of today, as Aiken got upset by Clayton State earlier. There's a big loss for them. Columbus State's in fifth place at 10-8. Then come the Bobcats and the Nighthawks. They'll settle sixth place at the end of this one. Flagler is at 8-10, and those are the top 8 teams. Nobody else, Southwestern, Young Harris, Clayton State, or Francis Marion, has a shot of making the playoffs after today's play now. So the top 8 teams are known. It just depends on how we all shake out by next Wednesday.
That's why today's game in the second half is going to be a big deal here. 38-37, you're playing for the number 6 spot, which obviously will help you avoid teams like USC Pembroke and Augusta, which are 2 teams that are definitely worth trying to avoid right now. And looking through your standings and everything you've got going, this game is going to have a tremendous impact on what goes on, as well as that Lander game. Georgia College playing the number 4 team in the conference, but they've done really well. They have kind of a dangerous habit of playing to their competition. It goes both ways. They play very well against the best teams and very poorly against the worst teams. And right now they're against an even team, and you see coming out of the half, dead even.
Yep. So that's the way things have been going for this young basketball team for the Georgia College men's program. And GC trying to hang on for another 20 minutes here and knock off the visitors from Dahlonega. Bobcats at home for senior day on Wednesday. No seniors, of course, for this squad for GC. So we won't have anybody to salute next Wednesday. We do have just one senior for the women's program in Dale Attaway. And then the Bobcats will wrap up their regular season on Saturday, a week from today, at Augusta. And a big matchup against the Jaguars, number 2 team in the conference right now. So we'll get set for second half action. And the Bobcats will send out Parks with 2 fouls, Jordan Thomas with a foul, Justin Cave without a foul so far, Brandon Thomas on the floor, and Wesley Simpson rounds out the Bobcat 5. It'll be GC's basketball to start action as they head to the south side of Centennial. Wesley inbounds right in front of Luke, and we are underway. Parks, an ineffective first half for him as he and Watson have been duking it out a little bit.
Well, your number 2 and number 3 scorers combined for 3 points in 20 minutes.
JT with a 3, missed it from the corner, and they get the rebound with a chance to take the lead.
Simpson and Parks have got to pick it up. Cave and Thomas have picked up the slack. They've produced a lot in the first half, but it's really got to come from that forward position. It starts with Parks.
Free throw line jumper by Cottrell is no good. Cottrell, rather. He had that injured ankle. GC coughs it up again. Shimanga gets it ahead. It's stripped away. Shimanga got it, and then he hit the side of the backboard as he was fouled. And that'll be on Parks, and that'll be 3 on Chris already.
Gosh, yeah, 3 fouls on him and an uncharacteristic 3 turnovers on Jordan Thomas in this game.
And checking to see some blood on that right knee again of Jordan Thomas. We saw that. Nope.
They don't like his sleeve.
Oh, a sleeve on the right knee is verboten. Okay. You can put sleeves on your arms, but not on your knees.
Apparently.
Apparently. At least according to these guys.
They let him do the little wrap on their knee for support, but I think that, oh, the wrap's coming off too.
Oh, wow. Okay, he played 20 minutes with it on, but now all of a sudden he has to take it off.
Well, I would think, right? We saw that in the first 20 minutes on his leg.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't catch it. As Shimanga hits the first free throw.
That's weird. So now he's got a black wrap on it underneath. He's got 3 layers he's over there trying to take off.
And they're hurrying along to try and get Jordan Thomas ready to play. Now they're going to rewrap the right knee with some black tape.
Okay. It's weird because Koneman's got leggings on.
Yeah, but he's got a full legging.
Instead of just a sleeve.
Just a sleeve type. Yeah, this is a takes all kinds.
Sure.
Koneman catches, gets it down inside to JT. JT blocked from behind by Watson. His 3rd block of the day.
Wow.
And he fumbles the pass at midcourt at the free throw line.
Yeah, Watson is a large human being down there. He's a great rim protector. He's got good hands.
Shimanga forces a shot up and missed it. Ball wraps off the window and recovered finally by Koneman. He'll push it ahead. Wes, contact, blocking foul called. Basket's good. Oh my. I imagine Coach Evans, yeah, he's standing over there, hands up, asking about that.
He just yelled at the ref, how? Says, how do you call that? Well, Snyers went flying. So it's a great sell. And I understand. It's really surprising that he didn't get that call, but I think it was a good job by the referees to identify their feet were not set outside of the circle and everything.
So Simpson hits the follow-up, and the Cats with the 2-point lead. Now we're exerting some pressure after the made free throw. Into Watson. Watson the corner to Cottrell. Comes up on the wing, flashes it to Shamanga. Back in the corner now to Minor. As they work it around the perimeter. Inside, Koneman working on Watson, and Watson missed it. Looked like that was going to be an easy 2 for him. Koneman just going to take it to the rack as the seas parted. The 2 defenders were on him, and then all of a sudden nobody was there.
It's one of the best plays I think I've seen him make.
Cottrell for 3, right side. Missed it. Rebound by Cave. Cats by 4. Want to get down the floor in a hurry, and they do, and Thomas almost lost the handle on it. Back out to the midcourt to reset. Simpson to JT. Into Koneman on a high post. 8 to shoot. Backdoor pass. Thrown away. Got tipped around, and Watson will bring it up the floor. Everybody wants to be a guard. And here's Minor. 3-pointer. Missed it. Koneman with a long wingspan. Rips it down. Bailey Minor had a lot of time to shoot that one and unable to knock it down.
He hasn't had a very good shooting day today.
Koneman again with a high post. Looks for a backdoor play. Can't find anybody. Brandon Thomas for 3. Clangs off. Nighthawks bring it down. Shamango. Watson's going to pop a long one and drain it. Hello. Big man can score.
What? That's a deep 3. Just lines up and knocks it down. Just 1-2 step in rhythm. Unbelievable.
That's his 9th 3-pointer made of the year in 41 tries. So about 20%. They let him take it, and he burned us. And the lead is 1. Justin Cave, baseline turnaround jumper won't go. Shamanga boxed out nicely, got the rebound. He'll fly it down the floor and lose the handle on it, but Watson bails him out, and then they throw it away again. Wesley Simpson pushes it ahead to Koneman, who wasn't looking for it.
I think they were trying to get to Thomas in the corner, and Koneman just ran in the lane accidentally. Thomas was wide open in the corner.
Watson straight away, left side to Shamanga. Off to Cottrell. Circles, swings it right side. 10 to shoot. Stop and go by Snyers, and it rolled out of there. Did we save it? No, it's out of bounds. Off a Bobcat, so it will be the Nighthawks ball when we get back to action. 15:45, we get the under 16 timeout on the Bobcat Broadcast Network. Nighthawks to inbound the ball with Shamanga triggering it. Both teams with some changes as Dean is back on the floor. Jumper by Jenkins for 3. And Jenkins gives North Georgia the 2-point advantage. Shot clock was incorrectly reset. Crawford has come on for the Bobcats in the point guard position. Sloan on the floor, along with Jordan Thomas, Justin Cave, and Wesley Simpson. They've been trying to reset that shot clock, but to no avail so far.
Does give Georgia College some time to get organized offensively here. It'll be important. They need a bucket on this possession.
Ryan Aquino, the assistant coach, goes over to try and reset. Every time they try to set it at 20, I believe, it's, there we go. Now we're down and ready to go. So GC by a 2-point deficit. Sloan in the right corner, wraparound pass inside. Wesley Simpson missed it, and they get the rebound. Had to rush that shot and came up short. Outside, Tyler Dean's three is way off the mark. Jordan Thomas, 12 points in the ball game, but none so far here in the second half. As we played 5 minutes, and there's a moving screen. It's on Austin Sloan. That'll be 2 on Austin. Team foul number 2 on GC in the half. Stuck a leg out to try and help the screen.
Yeah.
And got caught.
There's definitely Georgia College having to work extra hard today to get their players open, and part of that Sloan having to throw a little more body into the pick than he's allowed to.
Steeple picks up the dribble, gets it off to Shamanga. Oh, nice backdoor pass, and Dean wide open. And Mark Gaines wants timeout. Not a good defensive series there by the Bobcats, as North Georgia now leads by 4. And it's an 8-2 run by North Georgia here to give them the lead.
I had a feeling at that point in the game, the way that the vibe feels with the crowd and the momentum, had a feeling Coach Gaines was going to need a timeout in the next 60 seconds or so. Makes sense here, obviously, after that run where Georgia College felt in control, and now North Georgia has come back and stormed back into the game with a vengeance here and a 4-point lead.
Gaines will have 2 timeouts remaining, and we got a lot of basketball remaining. At least the fouls have cut back a little bit. Remember, we were in double bonus territory with about 5 minutes to go in the first half. So hopefully we won't have the free throw parade going on in the second part of this second half.
It's tough having to burn 2 timeouts in 5 minutes to begin, but Coach Gaines has kind of had to do that throughout the season because his team has not had a tendency to get off to good starts, whether it be halves or games in general. And now it's one of those where he's trying to kick the team a little bit and get them going.
Austin Deckard will come in at the guard position for GC. Parks is out there again with 3 fouls on him.
Yeah.
And now we've got a chance to cut into this 4-point deficit.
I think it's okay with Parkson right now because he doesn't have to match up with Watson. He has a little easier matchup on him, not as big of a body. Should benefit him both offensively and defensively here.
Deckard right side to Simpson. Back around the left perimeter to Deckard again. Down low to Parks off the left block. Goes inside, waits for the traffic, and 1. Zach Brown got the foul. That'll be his 3rd.
Parks' first field goal of the day. He needed that one.
Yeah, he muscled that one up and took a shot from Brown. Bobcats got it in there nicely off that left block to the big guy. Parks at 67% on the season, and he missed it. Could have cut the deficit to 1.
Has been a little bit of an off day for Chris Parks overall. He's had to work just as probably harder than always down low, and I think it's affected his shooting a little bit.
Shamanga drives baseline, gets it inside to Dean. Dean in front of the bucket, missed a bunny. And a rebound by Simpson. Wes back up top to Crawford. Wrap around now down to Parks off the right side of the lane. Dribbles up, gets it off to Crawford. Richard double teamed. Back off to Parks, middle of the paint. Floats it up and scores.
Chris Parks finding his stride here in the second half. I like it, the way he was able to direct traffic with the ball in his hands, having Richard Crawford move around, trying to get some kind of a combination with him. Eventually, it ends up being Zach Brown that falls down in the lane, and Parks takes advantage of it, going right over him for a layup.
And then they back it up with a bad pass as Dean couldn't handle the hot potato and throws it out of bounds. So GC with a chance to break a 47-all deadlock.
That timeout from Coach Gaines was well called. It's swung the game a little bit.
Parks inside. Ooh, it rolled off, but he tips it out to Deckard. 3-ball. No, it spun away. Everybody on this side of the floor was rising up for that three. Here's Jenkins, and Jenkins is muscled up and fouled as he went to the right side of the rack. It's on Jordan, and that'll be 2 on Jordan Thomas. Third team foul and a half on GC.
Well, Parks almost had back-to-back-to-back buckets, but regardless, even though he didn't make that last shot, he's looking 10 times better than he did in the first half.
And then Deckard just missed the triple. Jenkins drops in the first free throw at 84% on the season and better than that now. Their leader in scoring at 14 points a contest. Got them both and gives them a 2-point advantage. Richard Crawford across midcourt. Off to JT, explodes past Tishamonga, and Tishamonga with a block, but Parks saves it. Keep forgetting the T is silent. It is Shamanga.
I think Thomas was trying to do a little too much on that play.
And a foul on Zach Brown. That'll put 4 on him. It's ironic, the Zach Brown, the singer, is from Dahlonega, but this is not the Zach Brown. And he will have to depart. They put Watson back in.
I wonder if he's a good singer.
You can find out later.
We'll have to check.
There you go. Justin Cave to JT to a cutting Deckard, and he's fouled. Oh my. Hopefully he's okay. He got hit pretty hard.
Got sandwiched in there.
And that is on Shamanga. I've got 3 for him, and the board agrees. 4 team fouls on North Georgia now. That'll give him time to get Shamanga out. Cottrell returns. Josh from Haynesville, North Carolina.
Shamanga hasn't put up the numbers that we're used to seeing from him today. Georgia College has done well against him.
Into the right corner to Crawford. He'll have to dribble out of trouble. Shot clock down to 10. Crawford accelerates, goes in, put it up over Watson. Shot clock at 1, and that'll hit the bottom of the backboard. They're going to call an offensive foul.
Look who it's on.
It's on Parks, and that's 4 on Chris.
Yeah.
And the fans don't like the call. We would much rather have had just a turnover on a shot clock violation. And Sloan has to come in for Parks. The board's got him for 3, but I think we've got 4 on him. We'll double check the official stat sheet.
It should be number 4.
Steeple gets it to Watson. Watson backing in on Sloan, and a foul as he skips to the top of the circle.
I never thought I'd see a 6'8", 250-pound senior forward skipping.
Nope. You just saw it there. He was very happy with himself over
You know,
the
he
foul
should
on
be.
Sloan.
He should be. Now he's getting Sloan closer to foul trouble.
Yeah, he got 3 on Sloan now.
Right.
So both our big men in some foul issues.
About to get a lot more Christian Koneman today. Not a bad thing.
Here comes Christian. Watson with a 3-point play gives them a 5-point lead. I believe maybe their biggest lead of the contest so far. Thomas over Watson for 2. Jenkins fought his way in there, and there's another foul on a big man. Koneman gets his third.
Gosh.
Jenkins just exploded to the basket.
We know Wesley Simpson can play the 4. Can he play the 5?
He may have to. And we may have to get A.J. James in there, all 6'1" of him. Our under 12 timeout. Bobcats are down by 3. And North Georgia will be at the free throw line when play resumes. Next to last home game of the season for Georgia College. It'll be Wednesday night when they wrap things up against Lander here. A 5:30 doubleheader. And then the season concludes a week from tonight, or a week from today. It'll be back to a normal 3:30 start or thereabouts at Augusta on Saturday the 29th. The very last Peach Belt doubleheader will be Sunday, March 1st, when Georgia Southwestern plays at UNC Pembroke. On the men's side, that's not going to mean a whole lot. Pembroke, the #1 team. Georgia Southwestern out of contention in the Peach Belt Conference action. So a 52-49 deficit for the Bobcats. Koneman still in with the 3 fouls. 3 on Sloan and 4 on Parks for our big men.
It's a rough position for Georgia College. You turn to your bench here. You've only had 11 bench points all day compared to 29 from UNG.
Wow.
When you look at the starters, Georgia College in their 5 has outmatched North Georgia by a decent margin, but when you go to the bench, it's been a large difference. And now you've got players like Koneman that have to come in and help, and Deckard, who's going to have to hit some threes here. And it's not the best situation because that forward matchup is really coming in where I thought the game would be decided. Who would get the better of it between Kerrod Watson and Chris Parks? Now we're probably not going to see too much of Parks in the next few minutes.
It doesn't look that way. And we have to repair Jordan Thomas. He's got a cut on his arm. And Sarah Fuller will bandage that up. Jenkins has been prominent off the bench for the Nighthawks with 11 points. He's at the free throw line now to shoot 2. Try and stretch out their lead back to 5 again.
When you could bring a guy like KJ Jenkins, who's giving you 14 points a game off of your bench, it's part of why your bench scoring looks so good. I mean, he gets comfortable, then he checks into the game after his team's in a bit of a rhythm. He's able to go and hit shots.
Yeah, he hasn't started a single ball game this year, and this is only his 17th contest in game number 26, and a whistle away from the ball.
It's unheard of to get that kind of production off your bench, though. It's like Lou Williams type 6-man material.
Foul on Jenkins, his second.
We haven't heard from Cave in a while.
He may have to be a force. The Bobcats will have to get the guards going. Brandon Thomas has checked in for GC. Wesley Simpson to put it in play. To Brandon. He'll circle back around top. Off to JT now. Right corner to Deckard. Long 3 is short. And JT can't get the rebound. 11 minutes to go. Their lead is 5. Bobcats have gone in a bit of a cold spell here. Overplay by BT. And poked away again. Almost a steal. Right side, rising, and Steeple can't get it to go. Jordan Thomas's 3 is too long, but falls right in the hands of Brandon Thomas, and will reset. Simpson playing forward. Almost a 3 by Cave, but he got fouled by Cottrell. That's 3 on Josh. Man, that one almost fell for Justin. That would have been something.
He's looking for his first points of the half here. He's been very quiet here coming out of halftime.
An 8-point first half.
Actually, an 11.
11?
The board's got it wrong.
Okay, 11 for Justin. He had 16 against him the first time around. Give him a dozen now. GC will get James in after the second free throw.
This lineup is as small as they come for Georgia College. The tallest guy is what? Brandon Thomas?
Yep, 6'3".
Yeah, 6'3".
Yeah, the Milledgeville Midgets is what we used to call them many years ago. You're not supposed to use that term, but my goodness, they are kind of tiny out there today. 3 for 3 at the line, Justin Cave.
Now the counter as well in terms of the lineup for UNG, it's everyone under 6'5".
And a travel, thank you very much. A little stutter step by the redshirt freshman from Belgium. Snyers turns it over. Almost midway through the second half. And just a 2-point ball game between these two really evenly matched squads. Wesley posting up off the left side, gonna back his man down and score over Jenkins.
Your 6'1" point guard who started over 10 games of the season gets down on the block and posts up for 2 to tie the game.
Jenkins defensively is saying, what am I doing down here? having to take on a guy posting up who's only an inch taller than me. Snyers in the paint, almost got a 3 on him. Right side steeple. And shot blocked by Brandon Thomas.
Incredible individual defensive effort.
Brandon stop and go dribble. Has to push it back out and reset. Man, that would have been something had he been able to make and take that shot. And a foul. And almost a bucket by Wesley Simpson.
Wesley here will have a chance to give Georgia College a lead. He has done all right today. 7 points is what they'll credit him with. Not far off of his average on the year. Simpson's been a contributor as always, rebounding well in the first half, put up some good numbers there.
7th team foul, but it was shooting, and missing the first effort is Simpson. We're tied at 54. Wesley at 79% at the line this year. Try to break the deadlock, and he missed them both. Ooh.
Sometimes at the end of games, his free throw shooting has dropped off a little bit.
Ball knocked around, Minor recovers. Cottrell comes around a screen, stops free throw line area. Back out to Cottrell. Driving is Snyers, step back, Minor drains it. He looked where his feet were and stepped back about a half a step and breaks the tie.
He had about 10 minutes to get that shot up, so he should make that one.
Yeah, one of those late practice shots. Whistle down low and a foul from behind as Simpson's bumped from the backside. Team foul number 8. And that'll be charged to Jenkins, 3 on him. Jordan Thomas, after a breather, comes back in. He'll be on the floor for the final 8.5, I would imagine. North Georgia leads the all-time series 45-41. Simpson will shoot a second one as he buys a bonus. But the Bobcats have not handled the Nighthawks of late. They have won the last 2 starts against GC. The 2 free throws by Wesley makes it a 1-point game again. Cottrell catches. Snyers now around to Jenkins. Jenkins in the paint. Pushes it to Snyers. Snyers in the middle of the paint, forces it up there and scores. Nice job finding a crease against 2 defenders to angle it in there.
Snyers has been one of my favorite players to watch. Defensively, his effort's been really, really good on Jordan Thomas. I actually don't like that matchup between him and JT because he's such a good defender.
Inside again to Simpson. Our 6'1" post player delivers the mail.
Oh my gosh.
Cottrell splits two defenders. He bashed into Justin Cave, who thought there should have been a foul. And then Jenkins steals the ball away. Another turnover for JT. Down to Shamanga, and he missed it. Brandon Thomas taps the ball to Jordan Thomas, no relation. Thought it was going to be a tight one, and it has been most of the way. JT sets up for a three. Oh, they played back from him, and he said, I'll burn you.
Well, you know, Thomas is about 5 for 15 on the day coming in, so maybe you do let him shoot once and just try to get a quick possession out of it. But you can't let that man shoot. You picked the wrong guy.
Shamanga in the paint. And a foul on GC. It's going to go on, and see who that was. I believe it's on Brandon Thomas, his first foul.
Yeah, it's almost an insult to Jordan if you're not face guarding him. And when you step a foot or two off of him, he's got the competitive juices inside. He's as competitive as a guy that we have here in any sport. He's going to knock it down right in your face, and he'll let you know about it too.
That was a 7th team foul, so there'll be free throws for the Nighthawks. Nighthawks will be at home on Wednesday to take on Young Harris. And then a week from today, they will conclude their regular season on the road at Clayton State. And 61-59, GC with a slim 2-point lead as it's gone back and forth between these two squads all day long.
You can go with this big bag with multiple prizes. What's it going to be, James? He wants the backpack. I want to pay attention here. This is AHA Sparkling Spring Water, an item that's not even in stores yet from Coca-Cola. There you go. Congratulations, my friend. And the rest of the prizes are going to say congratulations. Thanks to our friends at Coca-Cola for all the prizes. I got to get my Frisbees off the floor. Enjoy the game.
Yeah, you got to get the Frisbees off, big guy.
Good idea.
No changes for the Bobcats. Same 5 on the floor. And Shamanga will be at the north free throw line. 54% shooter for the young man from Ackworth. First of 2 is perfect. He'll try to tie the contest with another one.
I was wondering how UNG was going to rebound coming in. They got beat bad by Augusta, 92-65 coming in. A lot of their best players had some down games. They shot 36% from the field, 17% from 3. They did have 53 points off their bench. They've kind of continued similarly today. Their field goal percentage hasn't been all that high, but they've gotten a lot of production off of their bench, and today that's made them successful.
Final 6:40 of this one in a tie contest. Homecoming 2020 coming down to the final 6.5 minutes. Wesley Simpson spinning inside, had the ball knocked out of his hands. They're going to call a held ball, and it'll be belonging to the Nighthawks. He went up against Bailey Minor and gave up about 4 inches at least.
Well, now I'm getting to the point where 6:25 left. You probably are getting to feel more comfortable playing your guys with 3 fouls. Will we see Georgia College bring in their 5 type of player instead of having all guards and a wing or 2 on the floor?
Back up top to Jenkins.
3 guards and 2 wings, basically.
How about that? No forwards at all for the Bobcats right now. Cottrell with Brandon Thomas on him. Shamanga working on Simpson. Off the window just as the horn sounded. He breaks the tie. Simpson tried to draw a charge. GC needs to answer the strip to the south end. Here's Simpson blowing past Minor. Did he get fouled before? Yes. And I believe it's on the floor. It's on Minor. It's going to be a 1-on-1 situation. Team foul number 9, last to give before the double bonus. So the foul's starting to stack up, and here we see one of our big men come in as Crawford has a seat. Crawford normally would stay out, and we would replace somebody else. But Chris Parks with his 4 fouls.
Gosh.
Back on the floor with 5:40 to go.
Oh, look who's coming to match up with him.
Yep, they're going to bring Watson in.
Oh, man, we're in for a show. We are in for a good one.
Simpson will try to tie up the score here.
You know they're going to go at Parks, too. They want it out of the game.
Sure.
This is going to be an interesting final 5.
Maybe a situation where you got to give some to get some. Simpson, second free throw. Bang. So down to 5.5 minutes left. And we're back to square one again. And Parks defending against Watson. Steeple throws it off to Shimanga underneath the basket, and he puts it up and in.
Acrobatic move there by Shimanga to get that ball up and in on the left side.
At 6 foot, he can play in the land of giants with anybody as well. Here's Justin Cave, drops it off to Chris Parks for 2. Watson went for the ball. Instead, it came behind him, and Parks was able to knock it in.
And Parks has come alive here in the second half. Now he's up to 9 points. Only had 1 in the first half. It's a shame he got in foul trouble, or else he'd be doing way more.
He's got 1 more than he had all game long against North Georgia, and there's a miss from right in front by Shimanga, and the Bobcats recover it. Their chance to break the deadlock. Jordan off to Brandon. To Wes, back to Jordan. Jordan going to try and create, get stopped at the free throw line, off to Brandon. Long jumper, won't go. Simpson fights for the rebound, saves it on the end line. Looks in the corner, here's a 3 ball away, hit the side of the backboard. Back in the hands of Simpson. Have to reset the shot clock to 15. That should have continued downward, but it didn't. They're going to make it 14 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, I think they stopped the shot clock thinking Simpson had stepped out. And
right.
5 or 6 seconds after, they've got it at 14 now. They didn't count that.
So GC still with a chance. Inbound to Parks, top of the circle. He'll hand it off. JT for 3, too strong. Shot is not there tonight. Bailey Minor with an easy rebound. Jenkins accelerates and floats it over Jordan Thomas.
Jenkins is a very skillful player, the way he shoots the ball and gets around the floor. Very agile as well.
Now Parks off the left of the lane, motioning for some help, backs it in against Watson, skies, and it rolled off the window. And it's going to go out of bounds off the Bobcats. Oh my goodness.
He's gotten unlucky on a couple today. I know it's been a bit of a frustrating game for him, but he's done well fighting through it.
Under 4, timeout, will step away. Bobcats down by 2 when we come back on the Bobcat Broadcast Network.
Change is constant. Technologies, careers, society. Georgia College is not about landing your first job. It's about preparing for success in a changing world. From the moment you step on campus, you have an immediate sense of belonging. At Georgia College, learning takes place all around us. Our students are critical thinkers, ready to graduate to a complex world. Georgia College, your public liberal arts university.
GC down by 2 as we get under 4 minutes to play. Bobcats trying to even the season series with the Nighthawks and stay in 6th place in the Peach Belt Conference, right behind Columbus State.
Well, this homecoming crowd here is going to have some kind of a thrilling finish. No matter which way it goes here in the Centennial Center, they're going to get their money's worth here.
Bobcats pressuring in the backcourt. Double teaming now. And they just get it across the timeline. Under 10 seconds. But that trimmed 10 seconds almost off the clock for him. Bailey Miner up top, worked on Brandon Thomas. Snyers with 3 seconds to shoot now. Left side Jenkins. Shot clock violation. Defense pays off, and now let's see if we can turn the defense into offense.
Solid defense, not good awareness there from North Georgia on that play. Lack of urgency in the final 7-8 seconds of the shot clock. Georgia College getting lucky here, awarded this possession.
Brandon Thomas spinning to the basket, puts it up, and missed it too strong. Oh my goodness, we've had 3 or 4 of those all night long that have just refused to fall. Watson off to Shamanga, driving, ball knocked away and recovered by Simpson. A teammate wasn't looking for Shamanga and the magic that he can do with a basketball, delivering it. Jordan slowing things down at 2.5-minute mark. Goes through 2 defenders, puts it up there, missed it, and it's rebound off the Bobcats out of bounds. Not a good possession for the Cats to try and tie it. Jordan took on 3 defenders and could not angle it up and in.
I understand it, and Jordan can do it, and he's done it this game, but I think you want to look for an easier shot and a better look at this point in the game. You can get better looks, no doubt. They have all day.
North Georgia trying to get a hoop to extend the lead as we drop down toward 2 minutes to go. Watson back to the bucket, working on Parks with his 4 fouls. Takes it all the way across the lane and missed it. He got an extra step to boot and still couldn't knock it down. Wes and one! Oh, what a continuation for Wesley Simpson. And he ties the ball game. And Jenkins will get his 4th foul. That was sweet.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Simpson finds the lane on the right side. The rim protection's not there down low. It comes over too late. He's able to muscle it up, and it's just well done. Great footwork and good technique on the layup.
Apparently that foul was assessed to Minor. That'll be his 2nd foul. But it's the 10th team foul on North Georgia. And here's Wesley Simpson for the and one. And it's short. Pressure again by the Bobcats defensively. Lobs it over to Jenkins. Shamanga in the midcourt, and they want a timeout. Nighthawks will have 2 more timeouts remaining with 1:45 left. It's a 30, so we'll keep it here. So we're tied up at 67, 105 seconds left as we settle 6th place in the Peach Belt Conference today. Flagler has already won, so they are in 8th place right now. And could be tied for 7th after this thing is finished up. We need to get the crowd in it here in the final minute 45 as well.
Need a big play, some kind of a 3-pointer here. The crowd is waiting for an excuse to get really loud here, but they haven't had much of one outside of that layup from Simpson.
They will inbound in the forecourt across the way from us. Jenkins to put it in. Snyers gets the pass, and he'll get it off to Shamanga. A dribble drive up top. Jenkins, free throw line area. And a foul called in the middle of the paint, and put that on Jordan Thomas. That'll be 3 on JT. And here's Jenkins to the stripe. Wrong guy to foul, came in hitting 84%. I don't think he's missed one tonight. Gives them a 1-point lead. Parks will return for offensive purposes as Richard Crawford sits down.
The biggest difference between the first matchup and the second matchup between these two teams has been the pace and defense. The first one was a shootout type game. 90-80 was the score. This game won't get out of the 70s most likely here. That's been big. It sways in Georgia College's favor. They lost by 10 the first time. Now it's a 1-point, 2-point margin.
Jenkins bags them both. A little pressure by Snyers. GC will get it in the forecourt. 90 seconds to go. 3-ball by Cave is no good. And in and out, and Watson gets the rebound. Way too early in the shot clock there.
Cave had a decent look, but Georgia College, being a slower team, would have liked to work the ball a little bit more.
He didn't really square up on that one either. He kind of shot it off the dribble. To a cutting Jenkins. He floats it up and missed it. Rebound GC.
This
With
possession's huge.
Yes, it is. Jordan Thomas for the tie.
Woo, Thomas with an off-balance shot. Everybody holding their breath. Well done. The superstar comes through.
Jordan Thomas with a big bucket with 57 seconds to go. Gaines calls a timeout. It'll be the next to last timeout. Newberry has come from behind to beat Georgia College in softball today. GC had an early lead, but then Newberry rallies to win at 5-4, so they split the doubleheader up at Newberry. So the final 57 coming here. And GC will put some pressure on them once again. Bobcats had led 4-2 in that ball game in the 5th inning. But Newberry rallies for 3 to win it. So the Bobcats will not put any pressure on the inbounder, so it's 5-on-4 on the floor. Minor to trigger it in. Try and make them eat some time in the backcourt. Shamanga lobs it to Snyers, and he'll bring it to near the midcourt and finally across the timeline. Left side, Jenkins. Shot clock at 15 now. Snyers off to Shamanga. To Jenkins, spinning to the paint. Now he kicks it out. Minor for 3. Missed it. Rebound GC with 32 seconds to go. Chance to win for the Bobcats. There is some time between the shot clock and the game clock. And now we call a timeout with 21.5 seconds. About a second and a half between the shot clock and the game clock. And Bailey Minor, for the second time, had all day long to shoot the 3, and he missed it.
Well, you can't miss that shot if you're Bailey Minor, but Georgia College here, well called timeout. I'm glad they were able to save one because they took those 2 timeouts early. Saved their timeout. Coach Gaines gets Crawford over with the ball, calls his timeout. And now they've got plenty of time here. 19 seconds on the shot clock. You can put together a really good play here. And let me guess, number 1's probably going to have the ball in his hands.
Very possibly. At least once or twice.
Doesn't take a genius to know that. Everybody in the building knows who's going to have this shot.
So Georgia College deadlocked with University of North Georgia with 21.5 to play. Bobcats will have the ball in the forecourt, far sideline. And let's hope this homecoming crowd will have something to get excited about as the final seconds wind down. Simpson, Cave, Brandon Thomas, Jordan Thomas on the floor, and Austin Deckard will be inbounding it.
Is it loud in here or what? This is awesome. Georgia College having their best decision makers on the floor here, their best shot makers.
Triggered in deep to Brandon. Back to West. He will hit midcourt with 14 on the shot clock. Everybody deep. Let's go, BT. Let's go, Wes. 5 seconds. Simpson, and he walked with it. They forced him into a travel with 3.8 seconds. They took too long to develop that play, and a timeout by Dan Evans.
Well, you set up in your press here, and the first thing Coach Gaines is going to tell his guys, you cannot foul here. That will probably lose you the game.
Yep. We're over the limit for the bonus. So even a foul on the floor would let him shoot 1-and-1. Gracious. Once again, you hearken back to the youth. Wesley was way over midcourt, or near midcourt, I should say, and held onto the basketball about 3 or 4 seconds too long, and then traveled with it. So that compounded the mistakes. North Georgia's got to take it the full length of the floor.
You can't really ask for a much better environment in here. The biggest gym in the Peach Belt Conference. Pretty full today.
Bobcat fans are on their feet hoping to spur on GC for a last-second win here. Now they got to hope for some defense and hope for overtime. 3.8 to go. Cottrell to put it in play. They will not defend him. They've got Miner deep in the corner at the north end. But a man on him. They get it into Shimanga. Shimanga, past midcourt. Floats it up. No, overtime.
Woo. Wow.
Came close to pulling that one out. Shimanga used his speed to get open at the top of the circle. And now we go an extra 5 minutes. As you might expect from two teams that are pretty well dead even.
Wow.
On the year and on the day.
Well, we said they were even, and point proven, I think, here in Centennial between these two teams. Even when you look at like advanced statistics here between these two teams, some of them like bench points are way off, but overall, almost everything is very similar. Rebounding, in the first half, it was dead on. The rebounding margin was dead zero between the two. Scoring, obviously, dead on, 69 all. Field goal percentage has been high 40s all day. So these two teams are well matched, and it's been a pleasure to watch this game unfold. We have 1 5-minute overtime period here set.
North Georgia 1-0 in overtime this season. They won at Southwestern in the extra period. The Bobcats have played a lot of overtime ball games, and they are let's see.
I know 4 losses, right?
Yeah, they've got, they're 1-4 in overtime period. They've played 5 previous overtime ball games. And again, that's the youth coming back. Usually you find a way to win. And you got those tight ball games, but they have not been able to win in overtime so far this season except for 1 OT win.
We've seen Georgia College here in the overtime games played at Centennial when we've been on air. They've come out flat in overtime. And when it's a 5-minute quarter, you can't come out flat because you're going to lose. That's the key.
Got to start hard, got to start well. The only overtime win was at Young Harris. And that was on the 12th of this month. They won at 72-65 up in the mountains. So we got another mountain team we got to climb over in the extra period here tonight. Bobcat women lost the first ball game to nationally ranked North Georgia. Brandon Thomas in the midcourt circle will be jumping center against the 6'8" Carrot Washington. And the tip controlled by North Georgia.
It's odd to me they didn't have Parks tipping.
Shimanga went to one knee. Watson for 3. It bangs out of there and rebound GC.
I was going to say, if he hit another 3.
Yeah, that would not bode well for you.
No.
Justin Cave circles to the right side, goes baseline, got cut off by Miner.
You know, Cave still hasn't scored since the first half.
Wow, that is hard to believe. He hasn't had many shots. JT angles it up there and missed it. Parks is lucky he didn't foul out of the ball game as he went for that offensive rebound. Still tied. 45 seconds in, three-pointer away, no. Tracked down by Simpson. West gets it across midcourt. We played a minute in the extra period. JT. Now right side we go, straight away to Cave. Cave, pull-up jumper, bang! Big two there for Justin.
Nice from Cave to create, get a little space, step over, and then knock it down. It's a tough shot, decent contest on the play, but very good execution. It's good to see him back on the board.
3.5 to go. Watson delivers it out to Shamanga. Accelerates, picked up by Brandon Thomas. Now in the paint, has to pull it back out, or under 10 on the shot clock. Here's Jenkins. Long NBA three is well off the mark and cleared by Simpson.
This crowd is playing a huge part in today's game. The momentum staying on Georgia College's side here early in the overtime period.
We approach 3 minutes to go. Bobcats are the only points so far here in the extra period. Justin gets a screen from Parks, and the ball knocked away and recovered. Shamanga, 2-on-1, knocked away by Simpson. Oh, they're going to call a kickball.
No way.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Not a good call. Straight up. Wesley Simpson has some of the best hands in the Peach Belt. That's a bad call.
Wesley just shaking his head and smiling.
The angle the referee had on that play was
Yeah.
not good as well. So I can understand why he'd call a kicked ball, but that's someone else has got to tell him that's not the call.
He was on the baseline, and Wesley had his back to him.
I can understand why that decision's made. It's just not right.
Jenkins spins in the paint, missed it. Rebound Simpson this time.
We survived.
Survived that one. Now GC will go into a little bit of a slowdown. Leading by just 2 with 2.5 to play in the overtime. Dribble drive, backdoor pass. Inside to JT, off the window short. He was not in good position to shoot that one. Shamanga drives and throws it away. Zach Brown, and not expecting the pass, lunged for it, but it went off his fingertips.
Wow.
Out of bounds in front of the producer here. So GC still leading by 2.
Somebody's got to come get this ball. Is there no one in the area for West? With that turnover, it's almost like they're handing the opportunity to Georgia College to take this one on a silver platter.
Yep, the door is open. Wesley outside on the left. 10 to shoot. Got to hurry up. Simpson double dribbled or pancaked it. That is 2 big turnovers by Wesley Simpson.
There's a carry, there's a hesitation. He looked to pass it outside. It was going to be a turnover because of the defense UNG was playing. The carry might have been the best case scenario on that play instead of turning it over and potentially allowing a bucket in transition.
So the only point so far in the extra period scored by the Bobcats. North Georgia with a chance to tie or take the lead again. Jenkins for the lead. Got it! The 3-ball falls for KJ Jenkins.
He is one of the best, if not the best players off the bench in the conference. There's no doubt.
Justin Cave back at the free throw line. Jumper won't go. North Georgia with a rebound. Rushed the shot just a tad. North Georgia protects a 1-point lead. And they want a timeout.
Had a feeling we had some kind of a timeout coming up on either side, so UNG is going to want to draw up some kind of a play here that's going to take about 17 or 18 seconds off of our shot clock. We have 20 on the clock right now. And Georgia College has got to lock down. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of a personnel change here from Georgia College if they're allowed. Trying to make sure you got your all-defensive team on the floor.
Got to have a big stop here in the final minute 7. And 20 on the shot clock, as you see. Parks is back out. He had been substituted for. Now he is out, so let's see if they're going to be able to swap and put Watson in. Apparently not. He's going to stay on the bench.
It's good rim protection. Georgia College has the advantage in that category, but if they allow a bucket here, they're probably in trouble.
Well, if it's just a two-pointer, it's
right.
Still a one-possession game. But if they hit a triple, it's two possessions. Down to a minute to play. Shamanga near side. Bobcats have changed up to a 1-3 zone. And it's tipped out of bounds on the wing. They'll inbound down the row. Jenkins triggers it into Shamanga. Shamanga in the paint, dropped it off. No on the shot, but a foul on GC. And that's on Parks, and that'll do it for Chris. As he will be disqualified for the second time this season. So Parks out with 51 seconds in the overtime period. And Deckard will come on. He put Zach Brown at the free throw line where he's at 62% for the season. Redshirt sophomore, transfer from Hartford University, or University of Hartford. And he got the first to fall. The lead is 2 for North Georgia. He stretches it to 3. Cottrell comes in for him.
Well, now you know what you need if you're Georgia College, and this is going to be an interesting one here. Okay, I'm looking at the matchup that Jordan Thomas has. I don't mind it. I think he's in good shape.
If he can get loose. Jordan crossover, 3 ball, off the rim. And Minor gets the rebound with 38 seconds. 3-point deficit, out of bounds, off who? GC's got it. Nighthawks knocked it out of bounds on the baseline.
Second chance opportunity for Georgia College. It was a good job shifting into their pressure look there, getting in the press. Austin Deckard does a great job. That's what he's in there for.
Simpson looks to put it in play. Has to throw it deep into the backcourt. And Cave has to track it down inside the free throw line. Now to JT. He's going to take it all the way to the 10 and score. But it's a 2-point basket and no foul.
The shot clock's turned off.
Jordan Thomas just got the 20 points on the game. And Mark Gaines will use his only timeout available to him here in the overtime period.
I kind of get it, because with the defense with the look UNG came out with, Georgia College wasn't going to get a good look from 3. It would have taken a lot more time off to try to shift things around. JT says, hey, we're going to get things done right now.
Coach Gaines questioning the officials about something.
Timeout.
Timeout.
Whether it's full or half, or 30.
Yeah. Now you got to play some D and get the basketball back. 24 seconds on the shot clock. The next foul for the Bobcats would be putting them in a double bonus for the Nighthawks.
Well, you know what you need. Georgia College in a press. Brandon Thomas in the safety valve position.
Cottrell looking to put it in, and they have to burn their last timeout. Boy, he just barely called the timeout in time.
Well, that defensive look from Georgia College, you have all shorter guys. Your tallest guy out there against Thomas at 6'3", really athletic. They can keep up with everything that UNG is throwing at them right now. Can probably do it again. You just got to hold for 5 seconds.
And no more timeouts for either team. At 24.1 to go in overtime. A very low scoring overtime. 69 all was the end of regulation.
We've seen that this year for Georgia College. A lot of their overtime periods have been 8, 7 points between, on each team.
So North Georgia again, the full length of the floor. Cottrell will put it in play. Have that clock going off in his head now. Got it in just in time, and a foul immediately on Wesley Simpson. And so it'll be 2 shots for Bailey Minor. They just barely got the ball in to Minor.
Yeah,
If
I hesitate to say this, but if you want to send anyone to the free throw line, it's Minor, because he is the worst free throw shooter on the floor. Little surprised he's out there.
gives him a 2-point lead. He will force the Bobcats to go for a 3-point shot if he hits this one.
Of course. I'm sorry.
76-73.
All right, redo. Clock doesn't start until he touches the ball, and they started the clock early. I'm a little surprised they're not going to push Jenkins up and make sure that Georgia College can't save some time. They got to reset the clock to 24.1. The table hasn't gotten the memo yet.
Well, they put it at 22.9.
That's not right.
That's correct. Crawford lets it roll. Now he'll pick it up. Need a 3 to tie. To go to a double overtime. A foul. Minor gets his 3rd foul. 4th?
They're flashing 4th up on the board.
Okay.
I'll verify.
Brandon Thomas will shoot a pair. First one's good. One more free throw would get the Cats within 1 again, but only 18.8 seconds left in the extra period.
It's Minor's 3rd. The board's wrong.
The big board's got it as 3. A.J. James is checked in for Brandon Thomas. GC down by 1. Cottrell to inbound it again. Gets it in. Snyers will drive to midcourt, and he's fouled. Thomas picks up his 4th foul. And with 16.4, it'll be Snyers at the free throw line, where he's 61% for the year. He's only visited there 18 times on the year and hit 11 free throws. So the redshirt freshman from Belgium will try to stretch out the lead. And he missed it. Best he can give him is a 2-point advantage. Bobcats bring Deckard and Brandon Thomas back in. Got to box out, fellas. Get a rebound on a miss. As the noise picks up, splashes the 2nd one down. 2-point game with 16 seconds. Simpson storms across the timeline. Off to JT. JT spinning, shooting for the tie. It's no good. Shamanga with a rebound and a foul.
That's borderline, between foul and jump ball.
Gaines wants a jump. Not going to get it. And the Bobcats, a golden opportunity to tie the ball game at least. And it just falls short. Shamanga to try to put this one away at the free throw line. Missed the first effort. The door's still open.
They're giving Georgia College every chance to make a shot and be back on this game.
Second try for Shamanga. That's no good. Bobcats hurry. JT for 3 to win. Yes! 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 Happy homecoming. Get off the floor. There's 3/10 of a second left. Get off the floor, fellas.
Oh my gosh, Scott. What a play, but you can't expect anything less out of Jordan Thomas. Walk down, drill a 3 in the guy's face, and give your team the game. How about that call, Scott?
Give it to JT and make something happen. Now, the best they can do, they got to take it the full length. Fortunately, no technicals called, because that could have been disastrous with the crowd coming out on the floor. And they could have been in their rights to call a technical foul. But fortunately, the GC game management folks got them off the floor. Got to play defense for 3/10 of a second. Roller coaster of emotions in the overtime period here.
The coach for North Georgia just mouthed to the referee, said that was a technical foul. They might not be wrong. It's a shame that's a rule.
Everybody playing deep with 3/10 of a second. And that'll do it. Now you can run on the floor. GC pulls one out somehow and takes over 6th place in the Peach Belt Conference.
That's huge for Jordan, especially hitting that shot before having a chance to put his team ahead and missing on the mid-range shot.
Yep.
Then having the foul called. It's another spotty call. Georgia College overcoming all their obstacles here. 78-77 is your final. Scott, couldn't have asked for a better homecoming game, right?
Indeed so, and fans got their money's worth with an extra 5 minutes. Coach Gaines making his way over here. GC wins at 78-77, improving to 12-14, 9-9 in the Peach Belt. North Georgia drops to 13-13 and 8-10 in Peach Belt Conference play.
Thank you, Luke. There we go. That's the homecoming we needed.
Yes, indeed. A big homecoming win. Congratulations, man.
Scott, that was a great game.
Outstanding, buddy.
Either way, it was a great game.
But Jordan Thomas, was it designed or was it just
get the ball to your best player and everybody
go.
get out of his way.
Get out of his way.
You know, I tried to run something at the end. It didn't work in regulation, and I was like, just get it, Jordan. We didn't have any time else left. Just get the ball. And I love this part of homecoming. Great players make great plays, 24 points. And the last 3, it's 3-game skid on homecoming.
Yep.
So now.
So finally got yourself a homecoming W.
Yeah, we needed it.
Outstanding. You're 6th place now all by yourself in the Peach Belt.
That's good news.
That's good news. Definitely so. One of those up and down games, Coach. I mean, we had some.
Luke, go tell the guys to come out, please. Tell the guys to come out and watch this. Tell the guys, please. Sorry, I want the guys to come out here and watch.
Yeah,
we got to support them like they support us.
Indeed so.
That's the Bobcat way.
You had some up and downs all day long, Coach. I mean, we had really good play at spots, and then we had some really bad play, especially the start of the ball game. Didn't come out very well.
Yeah, this is kind of how we've been playing. We'll get it fixed, but, you know, I'm so pumped up. I'm so amped. You know, we didn't play our best game. JT, he sat for 29 seconds in that one. It's probably too long. You know, I was texting back and forth with Sean Keaton the other night because he's one of my favorite players of all time. And I said, you just got passed. He said, Coach, now remember, I was only there for 3 years. I said, well, Jordan was too.
That's true.
It's good to hear from Sean Keaton. He's at Duke right now.
And that was a Sean Keaton shot right there.
That's what Sean Keaton would have done.
That's right. He would have taken it by 2 steps across midcourt.
I didn't think, you know, I was hoping. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but it doesn't matter what I was thinking because JT had plans and the ball went in and the crowd just exploded. And thank you to the fans that came because there's nothing better than a Georgia College homecoming.
Indeed so, and a homecoming win is a little
Yes.
bit better. It's an
Yes.
opportunity. Justin Cave, great first half. He kind of struggled in that second half, and everybody was really working hard to get their shots today.
Yeah, it was just one of those games where, boy, I thought at the end we had a jump ball tied up. Did you, Scott?
Yep.
It looked like it. We said we fouled him, but it wasn't the worst thing because he missed, I think, both free throws. Is
Yes,
that right?
I think so. He got one of two.
He got one of two,
yeah.
and
Kept
so
the door open for us.
yeah, so 18 lead changes, 12 times the game was tied, and they led 22 minutes, and we led 13. But just really, I challenged the guys the other night at halftime against Francis Marion and just told them, hey, the standard of just playing tough and just being all in, you only have so many chances to play. And that's what Sean was texting me. And I said, Sean, that's what I was telling my guys at the end of the game in the locker room. You only have so many games, so why not just max out, enjoy it? And because it's just an unbelievable experience, not just the basketball, just being a college athlete at a great school, great university like Georgia College, in this type of atmosphere. So I want the players to enjoy it.
Well, they enjoyed it today, and we enjoyed the extra period as well. And Chris Parks had a struggling day. I know he had some difficulty trying to defend the big guy Watson as well.
Yeah, they got Watson Sr., Shamanga Sr., Steeple Sr., Olatuni Sr., and Dean Sr. They have 5 seniors.
Right.
I thought that they played pretty well. And then Austin Decker, do you look at the plus minus? Chris, he missed some easy shots. He was +5, and Decker was +5, and AJ was +2, and Hunter was +1. Everybody else is minus.
Yeah.
So it's a team.
It's a team.
All 11 guys got in the game.
Well, congratulations on a big win. Now you got to wrap things up with Lander here. It's going to be a tough task on Wednesday.
Yeah, I like playing, everybody in the league, and, Lander's very well coached. They're just tough. So, and then we got Augusta too. So
Right.
I like playing those teams. I'm just glad we finally were back to 9-9 in the league. And that was a huge win, just a momentum shift. Now we can, I'm not sure who else won in the Peach Belt tonight. But like I said, any team can beat any team in the Peach Belt Conference. So we just got to get in the tournament and hopefully have a little momentum going into the tournament.
There's your finals, Coach. Lander won over Francis Marion.
Wasn't easy, was it?
Nope.
7.
Yep. Augusta knocked off Young Harris.
7.
Yep. And Clayton upset USC Aiken. That was a big one right there. By
Clayton's
a point.
good.
Clayton's come on.
Yeah, Coach does a good job with them.
Yep. And so that's how things shake out, and hopefully the final week will let us get a little more momentum going into the postseason, Coach.
Hey, Scott, I appreciate you, and I really do. And I just very proud of the guys. And again, I want to thank the crowd, the students, the community. That's just an awesome atmosphere.
It was.
It's I know it means a lot to the guys.
Great night.
Go Bobcats.
Thanks, Coach. Mark Gaines, the head coach of the Bobcats. Georgia College comes away with a big win in overtime, 78-77 on the three-pointer by Jordan Thomas with 0.3 of a second remaining. Homecoming festivities continue. The Bobcat women fell 59-43, so a split on the day for the Bobcats and the Nighthawks. Our homecoming festivities, as we said, will continue as the cheerleaders will run through their Peach Belt Conference tournament routine, and then we'll have the naming of the King and the Queen for Homecoming 2020. For Thompson, for Luke, for everybody on the broadcast, I'm Scott McLeod. Thanks to the producer for helping out. We'll talk to you again Wednesday for the final home game of the regular season, as Georgia College will entertain Lander. That'll be a 5:30 start right here on the Bobcat Broadcast Network.